like, how do you do it all? Like, how do you balance, Jared, like, you know, you've got your sort of music career, the sort of ancillary parts of that sort of music kind of edging into business. You're like directing videos, you're doing acting. Like, what is the what's the strategy? Like, do you try to carve out like?
You're missing the good part, bro. It's okay. We're not gonna miss you. Jerk.
Oh.
You can go. It's okay.
He might have had to go to the bathroom, or
No. He's got his backpack. He's out of here. Anyway, you know, if you're not pissing a few people off, you're doing something wrong. What was the question?
balance.
Time.
Balance.
Yeah.
A busy life.
You know, he's got it right. You get the fuck out the door and get it on. You know, get on with it. I love what I do, right? Most of what I do. There are a lot of things that I don't love, but I love most of what I do. And I love to work. I've learned how to use my time very, very, very well. And that's important because I don't like what comes along with not using your time well, which is stress and anxiety and not accomplishing dreams. That's a pretty big price to pay. So I like to be productive, and it seems like the more that I accomplish, the more that I want to accomplish, which is a funny thing.
You get hooked.
You get hooked.
You get hooked.
Yeah,
It's like a
you
drug.
do get hooked. Yeah, and it's incredible to bring dreams to life, even small ones. It's a gift.
You never feel like your music suffers because you're doing some other thing?
Absolutely not. I think
Okay.
it goes back to what we talked to earlier. I think that you learn lessons in everything. You know, you learn how to be yourself on stage because you played, 16,000 shows in a year. You learn how to write songs from editing. You learn about business and life and design from Tony. You can apply things in all sorts of ways.
Are there lessons? I'm kind of curious either way, but like, are there? Sorry, Tony.
No, I was going to just say, you got to say no.
Yeah.
You got to say a no to a lot of things. You have to self-edit. You have to figure out your time. And for me, it's, I have to engineer my calendar every day and every week. What am I going to do? What am I not going to do? And leave some open space for thinking as well. And you got to engineer your calendar. I ask every single person who reports to me, what does your calendar look like? Have you left time? Don't just let life control your schedule. You have to control it, and you have to say no.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Anything, Jared, from anything in your sort of creative career that helps you as you think about business? I mean, in terms of, it must be, right? But
well, I was thinking a second ago about, being efficient and traveling and secrets, and just bring earplugs. That's very important. You never know when you're going to use a set of earplugs on the plane, the baby sits there, and you're like, oh, no, it's good. It's all good. But what were you saying about
is there anything from the world of sort of being an actor or being a musician that has helped you as you sort of look at tech deals and
I think so. I think it's all the same thing, really.
Yeah.
You look at a script, and you meet a director, you're basically looking at a business proposal and a team, an entrepreneur. So you're betting on teams. I've always bet on teams. I've worked with, directors that I've really admired. I've been very fortunate to work with people like Aronofsky and David Fincher and these incredible people. They're like the CEOs, the founders of these films. So it's very similar, and you learn a lot from that.
So I'm going to ask one more question, and then hopefully we'll start taking some of your questions. So tweet to the hashtag. My phone has been buzzing. I can't wait to look at it, but keep them coming. But I asked Jared, before this panel, like, what should we talk about? And he said failure, and which I thought was kind of interesting. And it's a little bit dark, but
But it's
I
important.
disagree.
Yeah.
I don't think failure is dark at all. I think that failure is what leads to success, and success is oftentimes what leads us to fail.
Yeah.
Should I repeat that? No. But
very
it's the,
deep.
it's the truth.
Very deep.
It's the truth. And they should teach us that when we're kids. They teach us to avoid failure, that we should jump over that chasm like it's something that we should be ashamed of. It's not a dirty word. Failure is essential. And I've learned much more from my failures than I ever have from my successes.
Can you
It's
give an
imperative.
example?
Oh my God! I write 100 songs or more for an album that has 10.
What's
That's-
like the worst song you've ever played?
They may be on an album or two. I don't know. But it happens in every. I mean, editing is a great example of failure because you fail all the time. Whenever you write a song, you try 30 different instruments in a verse. You try different arpeggiated strings. Oh no, I went with a pizzicato over here. You know, it happens all the time. It's iteration, to use a
It's
dirty word.
evolution. Evolution is about failure and success.
So Tony, what about you? Like when you look back at your career, what do you regret or
Regret? I don't know
or
about
what do you-
regret, but
when you think about like your greatest failure, like what was it?
Well, I've been in companies that were huge failures, billion-dollar failures, but you know, sometimes it's just timing. We had an incredible startup in '99 and 2000. We couldn't get any funding for it, and I had friends on staff. We had this team, and we couldn't get the money, and I had to lay them off.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really hard. And then literally 2 months later, 3 months later, I get the call from Apple, and we moved the company into the iPod.
Yeah.
Right? That's the kind of thing that where it seems the absolute darkest, and you have to rethink what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, boom, you go, and it was Apple. That was Apple of 2001, not Apple today. This is when it was a less than 1% market share company, right? And you're like, you find that thing, and we have that conversation with Steve, and it's like, it resonated. It was the right person, the right time you wanted to go, and you said, I don't know, the company's really hurting at Apple, but we're going to figure this out together. Yeah. And it was just utter failure when you're laying off people, and you're just like, what's going to happen? And you're stressed, and you have 80 VC meetings, and all of them turn you down. Not for the meeting, but after you give 80 pitches, you don't get any money. It's just brutal.
Yeah.
But it really, builds grit. And you say, you're going to pull it through. And that's, the genesis of the iPod.
Huh. Okay. Let's take a question. I guess I'll read the Twitter handle. I'm not sure, but we'll try that.
People don't get to ask their own questions?
No. It's like a very...
Sucks.
I think
We can't have we have to go through the cloud to get back here.
Oh.
They go through the cloud to get to us. They can't talk to us.
Well, if they're in here, or are they just online?
They could be here or online. We don't know.
Well, if you're here, I guess raise your hand.
So this is
Just
from
scream out.
okay. So this is from somebody, Karen Olio. Are you here? No, maybe.
Are you here? She's here.
right there.
Yeah.
There.
Come on now.
She's not a virtual person. No bot.
Do you want to shout your question? Do
Do
you want me to
remember
remind you?
your question?
It's I got it. How do you think design? After you.
Well, for me, as a listener,
Let's just repeat it. How will design influence the entertainment industry?
As for me, I've been a music lover my entire life, and since Spotify, I probably consume 10 times more music and more different music because I'm able to discover through design, through these really great interfaces, whether it's a streaming radio service that's tailored or personalized based on my taste, but yet sends me off in different dimensions, or I'm able to look at a genre and then kind of dive into things. So for me, we have some incredible interfaces, and there's just more coming with intelligence assistance through machine learning and these kinds of things, and your friends. So you have curation, personal curation like on Apple music, or you have computer curation, and you're going to see these things blend. So the interfaces are going to be even more accessible, and the tools to help you find things, both from your friends or through other music experts or machines, are going to help you do that. So the design is just at the beginning of how much I think music's going to really change. And it's great because I also get my alert when 30 Seconds to Mars is going to be in town, and it's like all of these things make it better, I hope, for the listener, but also for the artist, so that we can actually engage with the artists we love and hopefully flow more revenue their way. Thank you. So how do you think design is going to change?
I'll take it.
Yeah. Any thoughts to add? Or?
Well, no, the thing that I thought about when you asked the question was how incredible we're in this mobile age. And not too long ago, as a content creator, not too long ago, if I made something that I was really proud of, not only would I have to rely on a gatekeeper to share it with the world, but if I would manage to share it on a platform, it was consumed in a really horrible way. And now it's incredible to watch something on your iPhone. It's a beautiful experience. It looks just fantastic, and I think that's really exciting. And it'll be. I'm curious to see what happens with VR, AR, and it's a wonderful time to be an artist and to make things and to be able to share them with the world.
Question: how do you feel about all the people when they hold up all the smartphones in front of you while you're performing, and the whole audience?
It's interesting because it went from this to this to this to this, right? Even when we walked out here, it was like this. I think you have to take that as a sign of value, of caring. And I think it's wonderful when people want to share or capture something. I think it shows how much it means to them.
So this was a question from Huguenot 5. Huguenot 5, you in the room? Oh, okay. To keep things moving, I'm going to read it. But it's, what was the biggest obstacle to overcome in reinventing something common and ubiquitous? And I think he has Tony in mind with this, but I actually want to throw it to both of you, which is because, when you're working through some older material, I don't know, when you're trying to take on a genre, whether it's a thermostat or something that people are familiar with, and do something new with it. I'm kind of curious.
Like the Joker?
Yeah. Exactly. So, I don't know, Tony, you want to start, and then we can...
Well, I think, first, I just make sure when I'm designing for a larger audience, but usually that audience is me and our friends. And if you really put in the passion, if you put in the emotion, people will feel it. And now it takes a long time to do that. You just don't spin it and spit it out there. You actually put that time and attention into it, and if you can communicate and you have truth in the problems you're trying to solve. It's not fake problems. They're real problems that you can feel and you can see and people see every day, and you're solving those. Then when you communicate and you talk to your friends about it, they go, oh yeah, I had that problem too, and I had that problem too. That's when it takes off, like crazy. Right? And, iPod, 1,000 songs in your pocket. Everybody wanted more music on them at any given time. Right now we have the infinite amount of music in our pocket. But those are the kind of problems, if you can solve problems that each of us have every day. We're solving for pain, not vitamins, but painkillers. That's when you can see things go and spread really quickly, at least in my world. How do you make
just
your
enjoying listening.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking about? It was like when you guys were making the iPod, did you ever think about streaming?
Yeah, actually we did. So we were always worried about who's going to take our lunch, right? And we said, there's going to be this celestial jukebox. One day there's going to be the celestial jukebox. And that is the thing that's going to wipe it away. And that was the transition when we went from iPod, and then we did this weird thing with iTunes on a Motorola phone, because we were worried phones was going to take it away. And then we just all looked at each other and said, no, we're not going to work with other people. We're going to make a phone that's an iPod. And so that was what the genesis of the iPhone was, because we thought our lunch was going to get taken away by...
When will they stop calling it a phone?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because it's not even a phone
it's
anymore,
a computer.
Right?
It's a computer.
It's insane. I think, and to answer your question, is sometimes you have to destroy something and to start again. You have to kind of build from the ashes.
Yeah, I mean, is it important that, like, I don't know, Tony, like when you're designing that thermostat, like, did you want it to look like a thermostat in some way, or did it have to like, you want it to feel like
No,
it doesn't, like, I don't know what this is, or
Well, you have to put it on your wall. So it
Yeah.
better be beautiful first.
Yeah.
You worry about the art you hang on your wall. You worry about your furniture. Why not these other products? So it's
Yeah.
got to look beautiful because you have to use it. And then it was very simply, I just turn it up and down. That's all I
Yeah.
need to do. I don't want to do anything else. So just make it a beautiful ring. People are like, oh, it has to have a touchscreen. Everything has touchscreens. It needs to have a touchscreen. I'm like, no, it doesn't. You know, people like that feeling. You know, it's actually a throwback in a way, and they're like, oh, I like that. It's kind of retro. Just like vinyl, right? Like, okay, and that was it. Make it beautiful, make it really simple, and that was kind of
Yeah.
the whole thing. And when you turn it, just make sure it's round,
Hey,
and then
Tony,
put a round screen on it.
What's any secrets you can tell us about?
Secrets.
Yeah, any new products or anything? Let's see.
There's this brain thing where
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm just waiting for you guys to do a toilet, to tell you the truth.
it tells you everything.
It's been a long time since somebody redid the toilet. I mean, yes, Japan not included.
We'll try to make it. We'll try to make it sexy.
Yeah,
we'll try to make
I
it
mean,
sexy.
you know.
you guys are both about the same age, I think, right? You're 46, 43?
He's much younger.
Okay. So you know, medical science, you know, being what it is, you know, you wouldn't even have to get particularly lucky to have another 30 years of productive, happy work ahead of you, both of you. It could be more, right? And what do you want to have accomplished when you think about that? Like, you know, what do you want to do? Like, what haven't you done that you want to do? What aren't you doing right now that you would like to do?
Well, my worry, you know, the stuff we do, unlike music and entertainment, the stuff we do, when you look back at like the iPod, my kids look at iPod, they go, what is this crap?
Yeah.
You know, it's not timeless. It's just, it was a period of time. And so when we're building products, well, that's interesting and neat. But for me, what's really important is building teams and businesses that can last long after, you know, I'm gone or whatever, building legacies like that and mentoring the teams to go there. So for me, it's really about that and creating generations and a system or a culture so that it can live on well beyond, you know, not just me, but my interests. Maybe I could go somewhere else. So I always look at architecture, look at the Empire State Building. Like, it was built how many years ago? And it's an icon still today. It's useful and everything else. The products we build usually aren't useful in 20 years.
Yeah.
So build a culture that lasts and a mentality that can design great products and solve problems for the world. That's what's important to me.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you. And
What about you?
I'm going to pass.
Really?
He just got applause. No, I don't really think too far into the future.
Yeah.
I'm very busy as it is. I've got a lot on my plate. I don't know, maybe one day I'll just pack it all up and walk away. That sounds nice.
But
I don't think that's
would
going
it
to
be
happen.
nice though?
Huh?
Would it be nice though? Really?
I think so. It's a big world out there. You know, being an artist, there's oftentimes a lot of reflection. It can be incredibly self-conscious, that pursuit. So I think, you know, there may come a time where there are other things to explore.
Okay. So we've got another minute, and we had one other question I think we have time for, which was to ask each of you, what is design? Like, in one sentence, what is design?
What is design?
Yeah.
Design is about a thoughtful process of looking at all of the details of any kind of flow. It doesn't have to be product. It could be how you ship something, how how you buy something. It's just looking at a human process that we go through every day and seeing how we can improve it. And it can be the most mundane thing possible in a factory. It could be somewhere else. Design is having love for the thing that you do and understanding that chain of events and trying to make that better for whomever is going to be using it. To me, that's what design's about.
Jared, do you have any?
I think design is problem solving plus creativity plus dreams.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time.
Come on! Come on! Come on!
Thank you
Just trying to
both
wake you up.
for doing this. Thank you for being such a great audience.
Thanks,
Yeah,
everybody.
what an
Jared Leto,
incredible
Tony Cadell.
audience there. You guys are so fun. Thank you so much. You're awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending